Good morning everyone, and welcome back to Craft Eccentricity, and we are up again today with more from Eiffel store. Right, as usual, I hope you all have an awesome day. Now then, how are we going to do this? We already did those yesterday, so if you want to see how I did the rabbits, you need to watch the one that I did yesterday. But these are what we're using. We're using those wacky rabbits, and I did find my set of stamps that matches these that I talked about yesterday. And of course we did the mushrooms yesterday. So what we're going to be doing is a set of 3 tags, and I've done the majority of the work, so it's going to be the completion. So I'm just going to put my scruffy mat down there for whatever finishing purposes I might use it for, and I'm going to show you my first part. Now what I haven't done is I haven't cut out the reinforcers for my tags, so I may vanish in a while and do that just so that they're finished properly. Right, I have done a base tag. I will link this die set below if I can find it, and I've done it in craft card stock, and I've also used a sheet of the Craft Consortium timber. So I am going to be gluing the cardstocks together. Okay, now there are 3 of these, so let's just show you so that you're getting all different bits of, you know, painterly peeling bits of wood. So let's have a go in here. Whoops. It's alright, I've got no fingernails. I cut them off for the garden, because if you catch your nails in the garden, oh, you can really hurt yourself. And then there is that other one. This is absolutely awesome cardstock, I have to tell you. I don't know if they still do the pad. I'm sure they do. But I've done 3 tags, so it's a craft cardstock base, and then it's a Craft Consortium on the top. Now, to that stamp, I've still got it on my stamp block. Here it is. The stamp is the original design image of what these rabbits are. And if you have a good look there, you can see them. I'm holding that quite close up. So I've done these as the tops of my tags, and they're basically all identical. So I'm just going to pop those onto there and onto there. And if I find the stamp set, because yeah, I've got it here. I've still got it out of the case. There we go. This is the actual stamp set. You get a lovely swan. You get some gorgeous letters. You've got one that's called Dirty Job. Haven't done that yet. And hard work builds character. Do you know, I might stamp that on a piece of paper and stick it in my husband's truck. He might divorce me. No, he works really hard, but I think he'd get the sarcasm of that. You get a palmistry hand. So there's that one. You get that lovely crisscross, and then of course you've got the rabbits. And as soon as I saw this stamp set, I thought I need that, because that is the original design from the book, and you can even see the signature of the original artist. But I believe that the book is from 1903 or 1908 or something like that. It's one of those dates, but it's just great. Love it. So anyway, you get all sorts of odd bits on there, and I just needed to share that. And it's still on my stamp block, and I just thought that it would go real nice with the rabbits. Now, we did do the mushrooms yesterday, so let's get these up here. So these are the mushrooms we did, and we used squeezed lemonade, and that's on that one. Antique linen, and it was a little bit of walnut stain. Yeah, I've used my white paint pen and just a black fine liner. So I'm popping that there because we did those yesterday. We did the pink one in the Kitsch Flamingo, and then we also used the shaded lilac. So now the rabbits, because that's how the rabbits come into play. And this is one of them. Now they're supposed to be silhouettes, as you can see here, but I decided to give mine faces because they just look totally wacky, bless them. But this one, I think, stands on his head. Yeah, this one is on his head. So it's going to go, I think, with my yellow mushroom somewhere on there. So we're going to put that one there so I know what colours are going to go with which. And then you've got the lovely hopping rabbit, and I've given him a sideways face and some extra whiskers because you get those, but of course those are hidden by the silhouette. So he's going to go with that one. And then this one I thought would look brilliant with the short mushroom because it's a leaping bunny. So he's jumping up and down in the air, and I've given him a face again, just using a fine line marker. I've used my white paint pen and my fine liner again, and all I've done is scribble around it and shade it off with some walnut ink. But you can see, look, he's kind of leaping over that mushroom, so I really like that. And then from my own stash, I found a really old fence die and a really old grass die. Now, if I can find them, I will link them below, but I can't promise you. So just white cardstock, and I just brushed up the edges with some walnut ink. White cardstock again, but this time I've used bundle sage and a little bit of walnut ink, and my grass is basically going to go down to the bottoms of the fences, and it's going to be arranged around all of the characters. So 3 tags, 3 sets of grass. You can see how much time I'm saving here. Yeah, I need to go off and drink coffee, and of course I've got 3 fence panels. So that is what we've got. Right, now then, I know I want that mushroom with that rabbit, so I'm just going to move that down here. And then these 3 pieces I'm going to pop over here. And in a second, when I go off just to glue those tags together, we'll arrange the other bits later. I'll cut my reinforced holes because these are just going to be fabulous on a journal page. Right, so first thing is to stick one tag to the other. Now this craft consortium paper is double-sided, so you can see, you know, you get all different sort of peeled paint and wood grain designs, but I chose this side because I wanted it to look just a little bit more orderly. I'm just lining that up, then just give it a good squeeze and you're bonded. Now if you wanted to use bits of doily or anything like that on here, that's going to look great as well. So we'll just go around, remembering that some of your glue is going to squidge. And I may need to pick this up towards me just to make sure it's straight. And I've got it on there. There we go. I'll smooth that down. Now this piece of grid paper is from, oh, do you know, I can't remember. Oh, I think it's a digital crate paper from American Crafts, because they've got a digital store online where they sell all their packs of paper so you can print them off. But I just know that it's in a crate paper pack, and I just can't remember for the life of me. It might be Journey. It could be the Journey pack by Crate Paper. So that's all stuck down now. So we've got our little bunny bits going there, and we've got our lovely wood grain down below. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to vanish. I'll glue my other tags with these same pieces. I'll cut my reinforcers and I will come right back. Okay, so that's all 3 tags glued, and I went away and I cut the reinforcer and just glued it over the hole there. So we have 3 tags. Now the next thing they all have in common is those fences and the grass that I cut out. And did my camera just go weird? Let's get some clarity back. Goodness me. Right, so you don't necessarily have to go all the way to the bottom. It depends on what you're using and what you're doing. And because we're doing a set of 3, they don't necessarily have to be absolutely identical. So let's slide those 2 out of the way and look at this one. Now this is the one where he's leaping. Yes, he is. Now you can go with your mushroom behind the grass if you want to, so that you like that, and he can be leaping off into the air. So I think what I'm going to do for this one is I want my mushroom on the outside, and I'm going to go with my grass and my fence at the bottom. I'm going to go with my mushroom, and I'm going to have my rabbit jumping up in the air like that. Right, so now we know what we're doing with this one. We can glue and trim, because you can see some bits hang over the edges. Now if that doesn't bother you, you can just leave them like that. You know, sometimes dimensional tags look great, but if you want to you know, pop them into pockets or anything like that, you might just want to trim them so that you're not catching every time you put them in and out of a pocket. So I think I need just a little bit, but not right to the edge. So I want to go right down at the bottom on this one, and I want to be able to trim it relatively evenly. So we've got our fence down now on our tag, and I'm going to trim everything together. So now I'm just going to run a line of glue along the bottom here, because I want my grass to be floating, because you never know if you want to, you know, cut a few flowers or something and stick them behind. And I'm going right to the edge of my tag again. Right, I'll let that dry and I'll come straight back. Right, so I think that one's dry enough, so I'm just going to flip it over, because when you turn it over, that's when you start to see all of your mess. There you go, you see. So just get your scissors in line with your tag and just go straight down. Try your very best not to cut into your tag, and sometimes if you steady it with your thumb, you know, like I've got it here, it can just be a lot easier. So now you see we're trimmed within the area of our tag. Now let's flip it over and do this one. And that's gone, and then this little bit. And turn it over. So now we're all trimmed within that area. That can go in and out of a pocket, nothing is going to catch. Now I did only put glue at the bottom because, you know, I was still kind of undecided as to whether I was going to stick my mushroom there or if I was going to have it on the outside. But I think for this one I'm going to go on the outside, so I'm just going to put some glue. Now I'm only going to glue the stem of my mushroom. I'll take the pin out first, because you never know if you want to put a little note or a quote, and your mushroom will hold that in place. And if you remember yesterday when we made these, I've got double-sided adhesive on that side, and that's what's holding those little dots in. Now if you didn't want to do a quote or anything, this would be the time to remove your double-sided adhesive so that it's sticking that side of your mushroom down as well. So we're all within the boundaries of our tag there. Now our little rabbit, he's leaping. Do we want him on foam pads or are we going to have him flat? I think we need him on foam pads, to be honest. And yeah, it's quite a narrow body, so I'm just going to use strips. So I'm going to go into the bottom of his body. And don't forget, if you've got ferns and stuff like that that you might want to use just tucked in, that would look really lovely as well. And you know, I was saying yesterday, I know things like this aren't everybody's style, it's not everybody's taste, so I am going to be back again before the end of the week to use the mushrooms again, and just use them in the traditional colour of red and white, because I think that's, you know, probably the way people like their mushrooms. Now I'm actually wondering, you know, if I want to stick that down. So I mean, I've got my finger in here now. I've just peeled the back off the tape, so my mushroom is now down flat. And the reason for that is because I really want my bunny to look like he's got more depth to him. So there's our bunny on our first tag. Isn't that great? I love that. And I think they look so nice when you give them some features. But as I said, you know, you can see the silhouette up there. Right, now we're on to our next one. Just move some of my my trimmings out of the way. Now, I'm wondering if I want to go down to the bottom with this one as well. I'm thinking we'll do our hippity hoppity one. Now, I might want the mushroom, I think, behind the grass on this one. And then have my hippity hoppity mushroom kind of in amongst the grass as well. Yeah, I think I'm going to go like that. So first things first, I need to stick down the fence. Once again, go along your bottom. Now I know there's nothing going to be tucked behind the fence, so I can just stick this flat. And I'm forgetting my little edges, so I'm going to be trimming those off. And that's going to go there. Try and get it even. There we go. Give that a good old squish. And I can add my other things before trimming as well. So I'm kind of thinking that I might want my mushroom up higher, but can I hide the stem with the body of the rabbit, if you know what I mean. It's got to be like that, kind of with his leg there, if you know what I mean, to hide the fact that we're quite high up with the mushroom. So if I gently lift my rabbit up and look at that there, I'm going to hold that in place just like that. Put a little blob of glue, and then my mushroom is where I want it. Then I can just gently lift that up and put a squidgy under the cap and press that down. Right, now I'm going to go on with my grass. Yep, straight along the bottom again. Right in line with the bottom of my tag. Let's get that straight. And then we know that his little leg is going to be hiding that little gap of the mushroom there. Now, do we want him on foam pads or do we want him flat? I think I'm going to go on foam pads again, which means I'm just going to let this dry for a second and I will be right back. Right, so that one is dry and I trimmed it off exactly the same way that we trimmed that one, and I've got some foam pads behind this little bunny, so I'm just taking those off, and then we're going to stick him down to hide the fact that the mushroom is just a little bit higher So we've got that little bunny down onto there. Now we've got one more to go, and I've just found, because my friend Julie, she sent me this lovely twine. It's a really narrow, like garden twine, and she also sent me some lovely little spring resin flowers, so I'm going to add those at the end. Now I don't know if you're looking at your clock because I don't want to make you late for work. But if I'd have done these from scratch, you know, because I don't like to edit or anything, you can see how long it would have taken. Right, now I'm going to glue down just the grass and the flowers as we have with the others, and I'll be right back. Right, so that's done and trimmed up, and this mushroom is pretty much going over into the centre like that. So I'm going to glue that down, and I'm just going to put a little bit at the cap and then just a little bit at the stem. I don't want to overdo the glue because, as I'm always saying, if you get your cardstock a bit too damp, all your ridges and bumps start to show through. So you just want to lightly tap it there. Okay, so I've already put my foam pads onto this bunny, and he's the one that stands on his head, bless him. That's how I feel most mornings. Right, let's take the back off. And then it should just fit there. There we go. He's just a little bit crazy, that one. Just make sure that it's fastened down. Right, so these are the three. And we've used very similar colours. I'm going to pick them up in a second. But I just want to use a few of these little goodies that Julie sent to me. And I'm going to dot them, I think, on a couple of them at the bottom. So I'm just getting them out, and I think I'm going to go for the peachy colour, or should I go for white? Yeah, I'm going to go for the white ones on here, and I'm going to pounce them with a little bit of oxide ink once they're dry. Now the thing with me is I like to go in threes. There's something about threes that's very satisfying. So I might need to change the colour that I use on one of the others, because I think we're getting 5 of each. So I'm going to go the peachy colour. I just had to look across at my camera then because I thought it wasn't recording. Ooh, that one's got a white centre. Now I'm getting all confused. I've got another peachy one with a white centre. So I might as well get another one with a white centre and put my 2 yellow ones back. And now that one's looking like a totally different colour. So I'm really confused now. So I can see the colour differences, so I'm just going to go for those. All I'm going to say is don't ever make a video without having at least 2 cups of coffee in the morning. Right, and I'm not going to have any flowers on that one. I'm going to leave that one like that, but I'm going to have the peachy coloured ones over here. Or do I want those over there? See, that's the problem with me. There we go. Now I'm happy. Ooh. Right, now then, where to have them? Yeah, I think here. Here is where I'm going for these. Now these will take a couple of seconds to dry. And then all I will do is just come along and make sure they're making contact in your glue. And then I'm just going to pounce them with my ink doodah. And do I want these in a total cluster? I'm wondering. I'm going to go one there. Yeah, I'll try and be a bit different with this one. You can still see the 3, but there's like a different little arrangement going on. Right, I'm going to let those dry and I will be right back. Right, I think those are dry enough to pounce with some ink, but I used some of that lovely skinny garden twine that Julie sent to me. And if you're ever using twines like this that seem, you know, a bit rigid, and because they're on a roll they have a crease in them, just don't worry about it, because they flatten out over time. They will smooth out for you. So anyway, I'm just touching those and I'm pretty sure I can use some ink. So I've got a little bit of walnut stain here in Distress Oxide. I've got my foamy doodah, and I'm being quite, you know, with it, and I just want to knock the edges down off them because we're a little bit vintage today, and that's what I want to do. I still want them to have a little bit of colour, but I want them to be just a little bit vintage. And this is just picking those edges up, and you'll see what I mean when I pick them up. Right, let's go with this one. Let's have a good old close-up. There's that great complimentary stamp. I will do my best to link that one, because if you like these kind of, you know, vintage style dies, then you're really going to love that stamp. There's our mushroom. There's our bunny with his expression, his little face and his whiskers drawn on. And there's that little bit of walnut ink now. And it kind of makes them look like carnations. There you go. They look like little carnation flowers. But just get your fine liner out and have a scribble. Get your white paint pen out and just have some fun. And if you wanted to splash that all over with, you know, black or white ink afterwards, totally do that too. It just, you know, gives a little bit of interest. But that one's standing on his head, you know, that's just me. There is one more thing that I would add to this, and that would be to use my Dymo. And you know, I'm wondering if I should and then just come back. I think I will. Hang on a second. Right, so I've done those two. I've done Spring, and on that one, Oh Joy, because I figured that one would suit it. And then for this one, I just want Hippie Hop. So I'm trying to think. This is your Dymo. You get this from Amazon. And I hope I spelt it correctly. Because I could do that. And then you just disconnect by the blades. There you go. So now we have Hippie Hop, and I can trim that down, which is what I usually do with my scissors. And if you want words to, you know, just fit a little bit better, you can just go in and cut them shorter. And then you find you have to pop it down flat and just grab it with your fingernail. There you go. Now I can see it. Because normally it gives you a piece that you can peel, but if you trim it, you lose that piece, if you know what I mean. But then it's still better to do it this way, because otherwise your scissors end up getting really gunked up. Now I knew that hippity wouldn't fit, so I'm just having Hippie Hop. So I'm hoping that will go down here and that it will go down straight. I'm just lifting his ear up out of the way. So there I've got Hippie. And then I want to trim this. Can you see that bit there? You get that bit to peel off. But I'm going to trim the hop. And then I can just peel that back very easily. And then I want to scale down my hop and put it just above that fence panel. So I'm going to go here. Just lift the ear out of the way and press it. So now we've got Hippie Hop on that one, and I just love that. These will be going into my little journal. And we've got Oh Joy, because the expression is just so wacky. and I just love that one. And then of course we've got spring, and he is springing in the air. And if there was room to put it another 2 times, I would just have spring, spring and spring. And if I can find a way of getting it in afterwards, I'll probably do that. But I do thank you so much for sticking with me today. Yes, it was a long video, but I hope it was worth it. Right, I thank you so much for joining me, and I will be back with Eiffel Store tomorrow. Have an awesome day, and as usual, all links below. Bye.